Why should you learn to code with game development? And if you're watching my channel and you're like a web developer already, there's probably going to be some interesting stuff that I'm going to talk about here and kind of give you my history of like how I got into programming. But I will say that learning to code by building games is actually I would say one of the best ways to actually get your hands wet or your feet dirty with learning the code. When I first got into software, like the reason I got into the software is because I played so many games as a kid. Like I would play literally every year. There'd be like this new game I wanted to save up money for and go buy. Diablo 2, Command and Conquer, Red Alert, Warcraft, Warcraft 2, you name it. If the game came out, I probably played it. Call of Duty, whatever. I reached a point now where I don't play that many games, but playing the games got me very interested in trying to understand how these games were built. And unfortunately, I never got into the game development industry, but playing games got me into just software engineering and programming. The reason why is because I go back a little bit to when I first started coding. I was running a Half-Life server and we had a custom mod. And in that server, I had like a guild going. In the guild, I wanted to give out custom skins to people that people could buy. So I had to learn how to program a little bit with this Pawn language. Honestly, at the time, I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. But there was like code for prefetching models and like loading up the models depending on your player ID or your user ID. There was a lot of cool stuff that I kind of learned, although looking back now, I don't think I truly understand what I was doing. But that was all to set up, some custom mods. And after doing that, I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. You can make money off of software and you can build really interesting things that make a custom mod even more enjoyable to play. And also at the time, I tried building out different games. I remember back in high school, I was in a computer programming class where they taught Java and object-oriented programming. And by the end of the semester, I had a WebSocket server set up that people could connect to, and we were all running around a 2D platform map, basically blowing each other up, right? And that was extremely fun. That was a lot of fun and a huge learning experience because when it comes to game development, there are a lot of things you're going to learn in this area of computer science that you're not going to get exposed to in web development. So game development, for example, moving around, you have to bind to the keyboard for inputs. And you have to figure out how to do that. And honestly, if you just start with something simple like Pong, there's a lot already in Pong that you have to figure out. Like, how do you make these paddles go up and down? How do you make them controllable by pressing the up arrow and the down arrow on your keyboard? You have to understand physics. This ball is going to bounce around, so you have to understand collidable things, and then also apply velocity or acceleration or something. Every time the ball gets hit by a paddle, you have to increase the velocity and then kind of invert it as well. So there's a lot of math that goes into that. You learn about vectors, like 2D vectors, and maybe you learn about like normals if you're, diving into 3D game programming. But the gist is that like every time you build a game and you start improving the game and making a more challenging game, there's just so much you're going to learn. Like you learned about trigger waypoints. So when the ball gets over a certain section of the map, the game's over and you have to increment some state internal of your game engine or your game system. And you learn more about how do you architect a game system or a game engine that can easily be extended and, add various things to it. Another good one is asteroids. I remember trying to build this back when I was learning the code. Again, it's the same thing as Pong, but now you added another dimension. Now you can move in the left and the right dimension. You added acceleration. Typically, these ships start off slow, and then they move faster and faster, and they can kind of pick up speed really fast. Also, trigger areas. You get to the edge of the map, it has to flip you back to the other side. Collisions and like splitting these asteroids based on if they get hit, which again is probably just going to expose you to good object-oriented programming design, stuff like that. You might have power-ups. You might have like a landing screen. You might have a customizable control dashboard where people can come in and change like what controls make them go left, right, up, down. So my point is that like if you're new to programming, I would recommend, if you're even interested in it, just try to build out some games, because every time you build out a game and you start adding onto it, it just gets more and more challenging. I think after like I did like the basic arcade games, I started switching to building out like 2D platformer games, and then I threw in like a Java WebSocket server. And I don't think it was even a socket server. It was like a TCP socket that I had to send over binary bytes, like a binary array of bytes or something. At this time, I don't remember, and I can't even like talk about it elegantly because it's been so long. But I do remember having to learn some pretty cool stuff. Also at the time, I think I was like trying to read more about the Source engine. Like Half-Life 2 came out back then, and I actually downloaded the whole source code and I started trying to look through it. Honestly, I didn't know what the heck I was reading, but just like getting that exposure to how a larger scale software system kind of works is just very good, because like there's like thousands and thousands of C++ files and header files. I had to build it, compile it. I have no idea what I was doing at the time, but now looking back, although I kind of failed with my endeavors of like making a Half-Life 2 mod, I still like struggle enough to learn something great. So if you are a beginner, like what is the point of this talk, right? I've been rambling this whole time. What is the point of this talk? If you're a beginner and you don't feel like you really know what to build, or if you're like just not really vibing with web development, because web development can get kind of boring. It's literally like you build out a button, the button sends some form to the back, and the back end processes it, saves it to a database, and that database, maybe you have to fetch back data and show it on a page on the next screen, right? It's the same thing over and over again in web development, and then you throw in some random things like, oh, now I want to do a serverless function because someone told me it's really cool. Or, oh, I want to deploy all this to AWS because that's what's kind of used in the industry. So there's stuff that you'll learn along the way, but I just don't ever feel very accomplished doing it. It's more just like I'm gluing things together versus building out a game. You actually feel like you just solved a problem that you had to think really hard with solving. It's kind of like doing like LeetCode problems or HackerRank problems, where they give you those programming problems and you spend like 3 hours trying to figure it out. You bash your head around it, and then finally the solution comes to you, and you submit that problem and it says all tests pass. Like that is a great feeling. And I haven't really gotten that from web development, because it just feels like I'm just gluing stuff together, or I'm making a very generic like user flow endpoint that does something. I don't know, maybe I'm just never truly passionate about web development. I just do it because it pays the bills and it's less stressful than game development. I will say though, if you're a beginner, go read up about the game development industry. I hear that it's not the best. I haven't been in it before and I don't know anyone in it, but from things I've seen online and people talk, they kind of overwork you and they don't pay you as well, versus web development. Typically it's a standard like 40 hours a week. Sometimes you might have to do some extra time if you have like a deployment or something coming up. But yeah, I mean, at least try building a game. If you don't know what to build out a game and then keep on adding to it. Like literally every week or day, just try to find a new feature that you can add in, a new mechanic you can play around with. And then at some point, like add in music, add in animations, add in different scenes, landing screens, configuration screens. And you're just going to learn quite a bit from it, right? And it's going to expose you to math. It's going to expose you to physics. It's going to expose you to data structures and algorithms. Because like if you look at this game that I'm working on right now, the zombie has to figure out how to get to the player, right? And it turns out that the algorithm I'm using here is actually called A star. It's a kind of an expansion of breadth first search, but it uses an element to have the path first go directly towards the player if possible, and then it starts expanding out from that path, I believe. Like, let's go peek at this. I don't think I can probably explain this, but let's see if they have a visualization of how it works. They do not. But yeah, in this game, granted, I used GPT to just kind of like implement it for me. This is how A star kind of works. So it has a line that goes from your source to your target, and then it expands out from that. So as long as there's not like a big, too much of an obstacle blocking that path, it's going to efficiently find the shortest path to the player that you saw here. So that's how A star works. And I'll be honest, I did not implement that by hand. I used GPT and then I read through it. But now I actually understand how it kind of works. I'll be honest, I need to go back and actually like implement it by hand. Sometimes implementing stuff by scratch is the best way to really understand like how it works. But I've implemented like depth first search, breadth first search, Kruskal's algorithm, I believe, is one. Dijkstra's algorithm, I remember having to implement that. Those are things I learned in college, and also just with doing like LeetCode, I had to figure out how to implement those min spanning tree problems, stuff like that. But yeah, those are things that you will never encounter in web development. At least I haven't in the past like 10 plus years of web development. I have never had to write anything complex in terms of algorithms, because most of the time there's a third-party library you just use, or the algorithm you're using, such as like dot sort that's built into your language, is already an efficient sorting algorithm. Like it already implements merge sort or something. The only thing I've ever had to implement was tree traversal algorithms. Honestly, that's just a simple like first search algorithm, or you could do like breadth first search or whatever. And sometimes it just feels nice to implement these algorithms, right? You spend all this time just like hooking stuff together as a web developer, and then you don't really get exposed to like the nitty gritty details of like how some of these algorithms work. Oh, another thing I got to implement in this game was a spatial grid, right? That's something that you end up having to implement in your games, in your 2D or 3D spaces, so that these entities can quickly figure out what they could collide with, right? You want to use as little CPU cycles as possible in your game so it runs smoothly. And using spatial grid can help with that, or spatial hash. So again, just like every day, like when you implement a feature, I guarantee like the next couple of features, you're going to learn something brand new, and it's going to be very, very exciting to solve if you're into that type of thing. Anyway, that's why I think you should start learning how to code using game dev. I'm not saying don't learn about web development. I think we're learning about web development is extremely important, especially if you want a nice paying job that's not too stressful. But also just diving into game development as a complete beginner, I don't think it's going to be a detriment to your learning. I think it's just going to slingshot you ahead of the bell curve, because there's just so much complex stuff that you're going to learn. And if you're not in college, I don't think you're ever going to get exposed to A-star. Like there's no way you're going to get exposed to breadth first search. Maybe depth first search you might get exposed to, but unless you go to college, like or you're very proactive in learning these things, you're not going to learn them, and you just won't understand like what we mean by like an elegant algorithm that solves the problem. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed my ranting. I will say that one thing I'm trying to do a little bit different on my channel this next year coming up is to be able to have complete videos where I just talk and not edit them. Editing videos is eating up a lot of my time, and it's just very mentally draining, and just, yeah, I mean, it's just not fun going through a whole video I just recorded and then like editing it all. So I'm trying to be able to probably do a little bit more live streams on my channel so that I can just have an excuse to always talk about what I'm doing and not have to like edit it all the time. We'll see how it comes to tutorials, because sometimes when you're making a tutorial, it needs to be very, very like polished, and you don't want bugs and stuff. But that's one thing that you're going to run into when watching tutorials on YouTube, is that they're usually very, very like perfect. They don't show you the bugs that take 30 minutes to 2 hours to understand. They don't show you me reading through very confusing documentation for 2 to 5 hours. So just keep that in mind. I will keep on making web development tutorials, but I'm going to try to shift the way I'm doing it, because I personally just want to get good at talking and not having to stop and restart and edit and all these verbal blunders. I've gotten really good at it over the years. Streaming more and just talking more live is just going to excel me in that aspect. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this little rant. Have a good day. Happy coding.